Hey guys, this is Justin at The Survivor Review, and after almost 2 years of waiting, X-Files is finally back with the premiere of Season 11, titled My Struggle 3. Now I've been really looking forward to this. I love the X-Files, it's one of my favorite shows, and for the most part I did enjoy Season 10, or the limited special event series, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was fun. It was a fun reunion. It wasn't great by any means, it had a lot of issues, but it had some gems in there. It was definitely entertaining, and it ended off on a crazy cliffhanger that I couldn't wait to see resolved. So going into this episode, I was excited, though to be honest, I wasn't expecting much out of the first episode, seeing that it's a mythology episode, and mythology episodes in Season 10 weren't the strongest. So going into this one, I actually didn't expect much, and I'm glad I didn't, because to be honest, this episode wasn't very good. It has its issues. It has a lot of the issues that the mythology episodes did in the last season. Muddled mythology, not really knowing where it's going, just kind of dull. And when it comes to the cliffhanger for the last season, major cop-out, to be perfectly honest. Now, my initial, spoiler-free thoughts on this episode, just in case you're watching this not having seen it, just wondering if it's any good. It has some interesting ideas and some good moments that I want to see explored in future episodes. But overall, it's just a mess. Again, the way, without getting into it, the way it handles the cliffhanger to the last season is a complete cop-out, and it's like, oh, okay, I waited nearly 2 years for that? Okay. But aside from that, it does streamline the mythology a little bit. I'll give it that. They got rid of that whole, oh, none of this was real, it was all a fake conspiracy thing from Season 10. That was a bunch of crap. We're back to just the typical, oh, alien colonization and the syndicates. We're back to just classic X-Files mythology. And I like that. It's a little more streamlined, not as confusing as it was in Season 10. I enjoyed that. It was fun seeing all these characters back, just in general. I love seeing them back, and that was great. Characters like the Smoking Man and Skinner get a little bit more to do, whereas they're pretty much just background characters in the last season. In this episode, at least, they're actually, important players to the story. So I like that. There's some little ideas, but overall this episode was just... It was nothing to it. It was just very exposition-y. Most of this episode was just people talking and giving long monologues about aliens and stuff, and it was just okay, I'm not really interested. Not much happened. There was a little nice chase scene in the middle there, a car chase with Mulder, but aside from that, nothing really exciting. It was just a very dull episode, and there is a big twist, reveal at the end that I wasn't too sold on. So that's my initial thoughts, just without delving into it. It's what you expect from mythology at this point. If you didn't like the mythology episodes in the last season, you're not going to like it here. It's kind of some more of the same of that. That's about it. Now I'm just going to delve into it and just discuss everything, spoilers and all. So this episode begins. There's a pre-title sequence, and you have the Smoking Man narrating. Actually, he says his real name. I forgot what it was off the top of my head, but he actually says his actual name in the first second of the episode, which I don't know if that's actually true or not, because with the Smoking Man, you never know what's true and what's fake. I mean, there's an entire episode telling his backstory that is probably all bullshit, so you never really know if he's telling the truth about that, but that was really interesting when he said that. And I didn't like this pre-credit sequence because it does the same thing that they did in Season 10, where it has a lot of stock footage and a lot of newsreel footage, and I don't know why I don't like it when the show does that. It just, I don't know, it feels like it's trying too hard to be relevant and be realistic, by showing all this real footage and stuff. And it just didn't sell me. It didn't sell me in Season 10, and it doesn't sell me now, and I don't like that. I do like the one shot, though, where you see the moon landing, just the fuzzy, old footage, and then it zooms out, and you see them filming it on the set, and you see Smoking Man standing there watching them filming it. I like that moment. I thought that was really cool. But overall, this pre-title sequence I didn't really care for too much. Again, just a lot of monologuing about aliens, about how he's been involved with the government for all these years. He's seen all these human atrocities and all that stuff. And it's trying to get really relevant where you see pictures of Donald Trump being sworn into office. And it's I don't really need that in my X-Files. So then you get your classic opening credits, which is still the old school X-Files opening titles, which I love. It's still great. And then you get to the first scene of the actual episode, which kicks it off. And you see Scully in her office, And she has a weird flash of the final scene from season 10 of her looking up into the gaze of the alien ship looking over her. And then she has a seizure and falls over. Mulder walks over to her, like all these people come over to see if she's okay. And the first thing you realize is, okay, Mulder is not dying or sickly at all, and everything seems to be normal. And I'm like, wait, are they doing a time jump? Like, are they flashing forward past that cliffhanger and just gonna explain what happened, like, in passing? Oh, that's a cop-out. That's kind of crappy. And then you find out, no, it's worse than that. Apparently, the entire season finale of season 10 was just a vision that Scully had. Yeah, none of it happened, apparently. That big cliffhanger, that like awesome, like crazy cliffhanger of an alien ship hovering over them. There's this virus going around, everybody's sick, Mulder is dying. That like epic ending. Just a vision. You know, this episode didn't disappoint me too much because I wasn't expecting much out of it. But that part did. That part just really made me mad. I'm like, really? It just feels like Chris Carter was just scared to like move the series forward and do like new things with it. Same thing he did with the 2012 Alien Invasion that never happened. Seems like whenever they're building to something like crazy and different, they get too scared and just like retcon it. And that's what happened with this. They had this big epic ending with aliens. People see an alien ship hovering above them. So now the world knows aliens exist. And no, it's just a vision. It doesn't happen because we can't have that. And I did not like that at all. I was like, ugh. But once that initial disappointment wore off, I just started watching the rest of the episode. And I don't know, I didn't understand some of the characters and motivations in there. Like, Mulder doesn't believe a thing Scully is saying. Like, she's like, I had these visions, Smoking Man's alive. Like, okay, I can understand not believing that Smoking Man is alive since they saw him get blown up. I get that. But, like, Mulder believes in a ton of crazy stuff. And, when Scully's like, oh, it's all about our son, we have to find William. He's like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm like, you're Mulder. You're Fox Mulder. You believe in anything. In the meantime, though, you cut to Jeffrey Spender, who, I guess in the years since the season 9 finale, has found some really good facial reconstruction surgery since he looks almost like his normal self, just with a little bit of scars. Okay. His face was completely deformed, but, whatever. I liked seeing him, and he gets chased down by this one guy who's just like, hey, we just want the boy, where's the boy? And he doesn't tell him and he runs away. And then later on, when Scully's in the hospital bed, he visits her. And, she's like, tell me where he is, tell me where he is. He was actually involved with putting William in hiding, and he knows where he is and everything, or kind of know, he might know. And she asks him to tell him, and all he says is he gives her a name. He gives her a name of his adoptive parents. And then he goes away. I actually like Spender's involvement. I think it's just cool bringing him back. I think it's cool bringing that character back into the fold. So this episode is really just full of people talking to each other about stuff. All of Smoking Man scenes in there is him just talking about the plans and how, like, Mulder's going to catch on to us and we have to stop him. But, Scully's the key to this all and all that kind of stuff. That's all it really is. He has scenes with Agent Reyes, who in the last season everybody was kind of shocked at her kind of turn, how she's kind of a bad guy now. And even though in that season you kind of saw the conflict in her and she didn't feel like she was a total villain, she kind of felt like she was doing it against her will. In this episode she kind of feels like a full-on villain, really. There's a couple of moments where she kind of slips, but she feels like she really is a bad guy in this season. That was kind of surprising. Again, like I said in my video for the finale of season 10, what she does in these 2 seasons is very out of character for her. But I've never been the biggest fan of her to begin with, so I don't really mind that they changed her character a bit. But that's really interesting. You have a lot of stuff with him, like with Smoking Man saying monologues and stuff like that. And then you have the scene where Mulder, he goes to the place where he thinks the Smoking Man is, breaks in, and there's this other guy sitting there smoking, and these other different people there. And that man reveals that he was part of the syndicate who kind of broke off from the Smoking Man who was getting really carried away and doing all these experiments on the aliens. And it was really like a bad guy. And he was kind of like a goodish guy in this whole situation. So you got this new kind of storyline with this other branch of the syndicates involved in there. And I do like those flashbacks. There's a couple scenes in here I like this. I like flashbacks where you see the Smoking Man where he's young and he's experimenting on the aliens. And they're on these tables being experimented on. I like that. I even like the scene where you see Jeffrey Spender as a kid watching the moon landing, and you see the Smoking Man standing there with him. I like those scenes. I like those flashbacks. But that just adds another layer to this convoluted mythology. And while that's happening, you get this actually really cool scene. I did like this scene where Smoking Man confronts Skinner in a car, and he has this whole conversation with them where he tells them that basically, like, yeah, the aliens are coming to colonize, but they also brought a plague as well. And they also brought a plague that Smoking Man wants to use to wipe out the world. And Scully is immune to it, and so is her son William. So William's basically the key to this whole thing. And then he's offering Skinner immunity, basically. He's going to give him the cure and make him immune and have him survive this entire thing if he can find William for him. First off, I like the scene. I like the way it's set up. I like when Smoking Man gets in, he just goes, mind if I smoke? Like, I like that line. I thought that part was good. I just like these characters so much, so it's cool seeing them interacting with each other again after, all these years. I am kind of conflicted on Skinner, though, because it's like, no, Skinner, don't be a bad guy. But you don't really know what he's doing, if he's, working with the Smoking Man now, or if he's actually with the good guys, if he's just kind of in between. I like that. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was neat. We do get one scene with Agents Einstein and I don't even remember the guy's name, but those two new Mulder and Scully guys from the last season. They have one scene only, thank God. I don't know why they're here. I don't even remember. It was Einstein and crap. I don't remember his name, to be honest. That's how bland they are. But only one scene. That's a positive. Later on, Scully's back in the hospital after their car accident, because that was kind of ridiculous. And the most convenient thing ever happens, that everybody leaves that area of the hospital, so this guy comes in, the guy who was at the building with that syndicate guy, and he tries to kill Scully. He starts smothering her with a pillow, and then Mulder comes in and slits the dude's throat. That friggin' caught me off guard. It's just like all of a sudden his throat gets slashed, blood gushes out, and Mulder's right behind him. I'm like, oh crap. I thought that was pretty cool. So, they reunite and everything. Skinner comes back in, and you can tell he's acting a little off. And, Mulder's like, I smell cigarettes on you, and he gets into a little scuffle. He's like, cider early on. So you got that little conflict going between them two. And then, Mulder and Scully sit down like, what do? We have to find William. And then, I do like the line that Scully says, like, continue our work because, the truth is in the X-Files, and we know that. I like that line. And then you reveal why Skinner is a little kind of, sketchy and not totally, on Mulder and Scully's side, because you cut back to him in the car with the Smoking Man. The Smoking Man drops the big reveal that Mulder is not William's father. He is. That whole episode in season 7 that he had was just him and Scully. He actually impregnated her, not raped or anything, but he said using alien science and impregnated her. So really all along it's been the Smoking Man. And I don't know, my take on that twist is that I don't think I hate it like a lot of people probably will. But yeah, I just didn't really seem necessary. I was like, why did you need to drop that? I don't know, I think it was just fine. I like the idea of Mulder and Scully having to find their son. I think that's a really interesting idea. Now it's just going to be kind of awkward, because no, not really. It's kind of Mulder trying to find his brother, technically. So overall, I don't know, this episode, again, had good elements. I do like the fact that the Smoking Man had a lot more screen time than I was expecting. But even most of this episode, they are constantly cutting back to him, and I like that. I like seeing the Smoking Man. So I like seeing a lot of that stuff. Like I said, there's some interesting ideas in here. I like kind of Skinner, not knowing what side he's on exactly. The only problem is a lot of the interesting new stuff in the mythology won't pay off till basically the last episode of the season. Because there's only going to be 2 mythology episodes this whole season, like last season where it's the first and last episode. So in between it's just going to be Monster of the Week stuff that's not going to tie into anything. So the little seeds they planted would pay off if this was a 20 episode season, but when you only have 2 mythology episodes, it just feels pointless. And yeah, this was just kind of a mess of an episode with a totally disappointing payoff to the last season finale. That just I don't know, I can't say I'm bummed. During this whole episode, I was just yeah, I can't wait for next week because it's going to be Monster of the Week and it's going to be fun. So I'm still into it. I still love the show. I still can't wait for the next episode because I can't wait to see Mulder and Scully investigating some weird cases. I think that's going to be great. That's going to be a ton of fun. This was just kind of what we have to get through to get to that. Just a lot of messy stuff. Just kind of just a dull episode. That spark that the mythology episodes used to have is gone. That energy, that excitement, that's like that feeling of like stuff is building up and you're getting things revealed. Now the mythology episodes are just a lot of talking, a lot of exposition, because they have to introduce all these new ideas in such a short amount of time. You only have 2 episodes to introduce a whole new mythology. So the whole like appeal of mythology episodes have just kind of gone away, while the appeal of the Monster of the Week episodes have gone up, because it's just fun to see Mulder and Scully back doing what they do best. And that's why I can't wait for the rest of the season, because I can't wait to see some fun adventures. You know, messy opening, but I'm excited for the rest. And yeah, that's all we have to say about My Struggle 3, the first episode of Season 11. And until next week, till we get episode 2 of Season 11, I'll talk to you guys later.